Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Tonight I'm going to talk to you a little bit about homeschooling, some of the reasons it's done, and just some information about it. Homeschooling is one of the fastest growing educational choices today in the United States of America. There are different reasons, many varied reasons that parents choose to use this, sometimes called a controversial method of educating the children. What is homeschooling? Basically, it's the parents take the initiative to have the responsibility to train and educate their children on their own instead of sending them to a government education like a public school. It's just that they're doing it in the home themselves. There are some preconceived ideas about homeschooling, and there's a bunch of them. I'm just going to cover a couple tonight. One is only a bunch of hippies do homeschooling. Well, there might be a small subset in homeschooling that are like that, people that are in a communal type atmosphere that do homeschooling, but that's not the norm. Another one is that it's illegal. That's a myth, a preconception that's not true. In fact, in every state of the United States, it is legal to homeschool your child. And in fact, it's legal in most countries and nations in the world to homeschool your children. Let me begin with an introduction of just kind of what's going on with this method of teaching. Homeschooling includes, like I mentioned before, one of the fastest growing segments of teaching today in the United States. Why is it growing so fast? According to the National Home Education Research Institute, on a study done in 2010, it estimates that homeschooling is growing about 8% per year. And according to the National Household Education Surveys of 2007, it's estimated that homeschoolers are growing, this is 1999, about 800,000 people. In 2003, it was almost 120,000 people. And in 2007, it's jumped up all the way up almost to 1.6. Some of the reasons for homeschooling, one of them is religious. That's one of the main factors in the homeschooling education today, and another is educational purposes. There have been a plethora of studies done that demonstrate that homeschooled children, on an average, do better on standardized tests than public school children do. Let me begin by describing some more in detail about who and what type of people are using this method of teaching and some of the reasons why. Who is homeschooling? Like I mentioned before, a lot of religious freedom-minded people are doing it. They want to be able to practice their faith in accordance to their beliefs and not have it stomped on by sending their kids to public school to teach something totally different. In fact, Michael Farris, the founder and president of Homeschool Legal Defense Association, wrote in his book, The Homeschooling Father, "There is little reason to wonder why a Christian father would want his children to be homeschooled. Homeschooled kids can read, they can write, they can think, and they have deeply ingrained moral and spiritual values. They can get along in a family setting. Homeschooled children can socialize with children of all ages as well as with adults. As a general rule, a homeschooled child will make an excellent worker, an excellent spouse, a parent, and a good citizen. Homeschooling works." In order to keep, another reason is in order to keep secular influence in check within a family. In fact, many homeschoolers believe that worldly influence is not a good thing, it's a bad thing. And that's the reason they do it. And they distrust some of the immoral teaching that is within the public school setting. Not necessarily in the curriculum or by the teachers, but although there's some of that, but with the peer groups that they have to associate with in the public school. Some other people that care about homeschooling is the liberty-minded people. They feel that the original documents of the United States, the Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution, are in fact still extant today, and they're not bygone, relics of bygone eras. They still matter today. And they also prefer more latitude in the curriculum choices that they can use. So, why are so many people now showing more interest in this form of education, and what are the reasons for doing so? One of the reasons it's spreading so fast is because parents can have the freedom to teach as they see fit. They have some liberty in teaching the moral foundations they believe in. And it's also a tight-knit community of faith mostly. It's not exclusively just faith-based, but the large portion of homeschoolers do have faith as a reason for their homeschooling. They also have the ability to tailor learning to each individual, to each of their kids, so they can use the curriculum that best fits their family and their child. Parents care more about their own kids usually than the impersonal system that the kids have to go to in the public school system. And there's also no problem with truancy. Parents usually tend to know where their kids are when they're homeschooled. And finally, the educational freedom, the ability to teach faith-based curriculum, which is a big deal. And they're also committed to a like community, people that have similar faith, not necessarily the same faith, but have some of the same values as faith-based community, and they associate with those kind of people. In conclusion, I hope this helps you understand the reason behind some of the homeschooling, and understand better why some of the people do it, and a little more about the people that actually do this type of educational choice that they've selected. I thank you for listening. I appreciate your time, and thank you.